Hello everyone, I'm Leah. Welcome to Job Teaser Join Show. We are going to focus about explanation and advices to John Cartier, a well-known jewelry and watchmaking maison. By my side to talk about it, Alice Buob and Théo Laboré. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you for being with us today. I don't tell more about Cartier. I let you, both of you, present yourself in few words. So maybe, Alice, you can start.
Yes, with pleasure. So my name is Alice. I have both engineer and marketing background, and I've joined Cartier a bit more than 2 years and a half ago through the engineering graduate program, Beyond Engineering, also called B. I recently graduated this program, and I've started my new position in the product development teams on the jewelry side in Paris, and as responsible of continuous improvement and coordination for our novelty manager.
And you, Theo, you are working in Amsterdam right now, so can you explain what you are doing exactly?
Yeah, that's true. I'm in Amsterdam for a little over a year now, and I'm the director of one of the 2 boutiques we have in Amsterdam. Before joining Cartier, I was in hospitality, where I started my career a long time ago, and I then did a pivot into tech. So my background is a little bit different from Alice, but Cartier, and more on that later, is a maison which welcomes warmly talent with a very diverse background. I met Cartier when I was doing the HEC Paris MBA, and my decision to join the maison was based on the fact that Cartier started a new graduate program called Aspire, which is designed to help people start a career in retail when they don't necessarily have a strong career in retail. And it helps bridge the gap between these talents with a little bit of an exotic background and a maison such as Cartier.
Before going deeply in the subject and talk about your 2 talent program, first maybe Theo, you can give us an elevator pitch about Cartier and its strong values.
Yes, so there's a lot to be said about Cartier. The more important thing is that it's a very resilient maison. It's a very international maison from the very beginning. So Cartier is 170 years old today, and it's founded on principles of boldness and a very strong pioneering spirit. And this spirit is still very much alive today. And it's something that unites and brings together the 10,000 colleagues Alice and I have. And what we do, we enrich, we really cherish our past, our heritage. And we're guardians of that heritage, but at the same time, we're really pushing the boundaries of excellence, of creativity, to make sure the maison remains relevant. You asked me about the value, so I can maybe start with the 3 I find the most important. The people I met at Cartier really, from the beginning, from the moment I decided to join, really embodies these values. So I could talk about the curiosity, which you need to have, the generosity, the open-mindedness. I think I explained it's a very international, it's a very diverse company. So the open-mindedness. It's difficult to say open-mindedness. It's very important. I could talk about the spirit of sharing, the respect, the independence, the rigor, but it's not meant as a negative word, rigor. At Cartier, it's more trying to push the boundaries, challenging the status quo, the excellence towards which we strive. I mean, and Alice could tell you all about the rigor as she's an engineer. But
but before, what is your favorite values?
Generosity.
And you, Alice?
I will go for the difficult word and choose the open-mindedness.
You said it much better than me.
And now, can we come back to your talent program? Can you tell more about it? Maybe Alice, you can start again.
Yes, of course. So the engineering graduate program Beyond Engineering I've been part of is actually quite recent, because I was the first graduate program from the Beyond Engineering. And as I said, I've joined 2 years ago. This program is a 24-month program. During the program, you have different rotational assignments, so 4 different rotational assignments of 6 months each. The opportunity to discover different departments of the maison. So, for example, you can discover the manufacturing environment, supply chain or operation, and central function teams. And this also allows you to visit different countries and to work in immersion in different countries, such as Switzerland, France, and or Italy. The aim of the program is also to immerse ourselves and train in these different departments, and giving us the ability to scale up the faculty to think globally in local environments. And this is maybe one of the most important points of the graduate program. Then to accompany us during the whole program, we have a mentor assigned from the management that helps us during the whole graduate program. And just to illustrate maybe all this, I can talk a bit about my path during the Cartier journey, where I've been starting in Switzerland near Neuchâtel in La Chaux-de-Fonds, where I had my first rotation in the industrial management teams. Then I've been working in commercial teams in Geneva. Then I've been working in the product development teams, helping to implement a new system of management, operational system of management. And finally, I've been working in Paris in the marketing, international jewelry teams of product development.
And you, Theo, what about Aspire?
It's a little bit like your program, Alice. It's over 2 years as well, and there's really this sense, this important aspect of the rotation. Cartier is a very international company. I think we talked about the different nationalities and all the different markets, but within the Aspire program, you will rotate to different boutiques. You will see different functions in different markets. So I started in Switzerland, for example, where I stayed 6 months, onboarding and the first experience in a boutique. I then traveled to Amsterdam, where I was supposed to stay 6 months until the dream job became available. But after Amsterdam, I was supposed to go to London, and those opportunities are open to everyone. And that's true for Europe, but it's also true for other markets where there is also an Aspire program. You see different countries, you see different boutiques, you also see different functions. So I spent some time also at the head office, understanding how the boutiques are really woven into an international and transversal organization.
And in general, you want to say
yes,
something?
maybe just to add something quite linked to what Theo just said. In the engineering graduate program, we know also this retail part is very important, and therefore we have a small retail experience of 1 month to go in the boutique and to understand how the boutique works and to see who are our clients. And this is very important, especially because we're close from our clients and also from our products. So just to add this.
And in general, not only to join a talent program, but in general, what is the recruitment process in Cartier?
So, of course, the process is a bit different depending on the team you are going to join and the department as well. But there are 3 main common phases to every process when you want to apply to Cartier. The first one is the online application, where you have to apply online with your CV and cover letter on our Cartier website, Cartier Career website. The second part is the video interviews, where you have short questions and you have 1 minute to answer, and it can be followed by online tests of behavioral and cognitive tests. The third part is the assessment day, which is one of the main important parts of the process, with the others, of course, but where you can here meet really the maison, and on the other side where we can meet also the candidates. And here it's more often half a day, where you have first of all a motivational interview, and then you have a business exchange and discussion with someone working in the department, for example, you want to join. So it can be business cases or role plays, for example.
And during every step of this recruitment process, what are expectations exactly?
It's a challenging recruitment process, I think, but it's very comprehensive.
It's a bit long.
It's quite, it's long, but it's also very effective because the way it's organized.
Yes.
I thought it was one of the best recruiting processes.
Same for me.
Yeah. Alice will agree, but you really get to meet a lot of different people. But for each steps, I think I can share some tips, and I think it starts with a CV. It's very important, especially if you don't have a traditional retail background, like me, to really translate some of the things that are on your CV. So if you use acronyms, for example, it's very important to translate it into something that doesn't have your background, that doesn't understand the industry you're from, to really make sense of the skills, the competencies you can bring to Cartier. So make sure you have a very nice and clean CV. For the asynchronous videos, there's not much you can do to prepare, but just to take the time to relax. It's not a very pleasant. It's challenging for sure. No one likes to be in front of. No one likes that, but it's very important to be natural and to be yourself. I think that's key. what worked for me, and I think what's also important, because Alice, you talked about the retail experience component
Yes.
in your engineering program, which is, I think, not expected, is to visit the boutiques. And if you're like me, if you've never been into a Cartier boutique, and never dared to go into a Cartier boutique before, I had very little experience, spend time in the boutiques. Visit the boutiques, go as a client, pretend you're looking for your graduation gift, for example, which you could actually be doing, but said you're looking for something for ideas for a loved one, and then see the experience, have a look, like feel the atmosphere, exactly. Try to understand what the retail culture is at Cartier. And you can also ask questions directly to the employees there, what it's like to work at Cartier. Because if you don't have the experience of the boutique, if you don't know much about the maison, you need talking points for the interviews, and that's really important for the end part of the recruitment process. It's the interviews, the panel interview. For the behavioral and the cognitive tests, don't do it the way I did it. I did it after landing. I took a very long trip to the other side of the world, and I did that like the first thing I did when I got into my hotel. So that was not a great idea. So don't do that. Do it at home at peace.
But you did it successfully.
Apparently I did, but yeah.
So everything is possible.
Yes. And the last point is more for the role play, which I found to be one of the most challenging parts of this recruitment process. You need to be natural. You need to be well prepared. That's why I said, come to the boutiques and go online. I mean, today it's very easy to find information about Cartier. There is a lot about Cartier online. The history, which I mentioned a little bit earlier, the Cartier Women's Initiative, which is fascinating. If you're in Paris, if you're lucky to be in Paris, go and visit the Foundation for Contemporary Arts. It's very inspiring. And if you haven't, Léa, you should definitely go.
I want to go,
yes,
for sure.
Go and have a look.
And when candidates succeed to this recruitment process, after there is onboarding, so what about it, Alice?
So concerning the onboarding, of course, the onboarding is very different depending on the team you integrate and the department also. But I would say one common point I really enjoyed during my whole process of onboarding was the Connaître Cartier, the Connaître Cartier session I had. It's a session that lasts for 2 days. Very interesting to learn more about the story of the maison and to know little anecdotes and to learn really lots of very important points that helps you to understand why the maison is working like this today. So this is maybe one very important point. Then if I go back a bit to how I've been integrating the maison, I've been in different teams for the first 2 years. And so I experienced different onboarding as well. So this was the rotational assignments are also very important in the integration process. And so I would say this is a real boost. Then I had the opportunity, as I said previously, to have a mentor assigned, and it's a wonderful experience to have a very personalized onboarding. And so this is also something that helped me a lot. But then now if I take a step back to all this and now I have my permanent position, of course I had onboarding even though I know quite well now the maison, well, at least better than 2 years ago. So maybe what I would like to say during the onboarding is that onboarding never really stops. And during the integration and during, integration is continuous. And I think you need to always be aware of new opportunities to visit the maison's environment. As Theo said, this is true to go and visit boutiques when you have the opportunity as an intern or person working in our maison, but also I think you should seize opportunities to go and visit our manufacturers. Something interesting I would like to say about the onboarding part is our creation, and you never stop learning while seeing creations and the know-how that is behind. And so this is also something I want to keep continuing. I want to keep learning during my path through Cartier.
Theo, you would like to complete?
Yes, I think Alice said everything. I feel like I've never finished my onboarding, actually. I'm still, after almost 2 years, still doing the onboarding. The initial one was very generous. It was 3 weeks in Geneva. And, the person who was also doing the Aspire program and myself, we had multiple opportunities for a very intimate chat with multiple senior leaders of the organization. And you really get to hear, I could tell you about projects that are now being rolled out at Cartier. I heard about them first 2 years ago from the horse's mouth directly. And you have these senior leaders who really generously share their passion for the maison, and what's coming. And this is where I think you can really start to build a very strong network.
Yes.
Which I leverage today after 2 years during this onboarding. And every time you do a rotation, so for me it was a boutique, a different country, a different team, a different function, there is a sort of a mini onboarding. And again, you meet your direct colleagues, but you also get to meet people that are not directly going to be working with you, but teams that are sometimes a bit removed from you or a bit remote. And that I think is amazing, because you really get to understand quite quickly how it works. And like Alice, if you're not really from Cartier, if you haven't joined Cartier at a very young age, you very quickly build a very strong network through that onboarding. And it's an acceleration. You use the word boost, which I think it's a great word. It really brings you up to speed very quickly. But again, you need to be open-minded. You need to be curious. You need to ask questions, and then amazing things start to happen.
Yeah, we are going to talk about your advice to succeed actually from the beginning. This first step that we are talk about just right now, and how to improve the skill over the years.
So I can maybe start with 3 behavioral tips that could help for the for your early career in Cartier. The first tip I would suggest is cultivate your difference and your uniqueness. This is very important when you join the Maison. Believe you can bring something to Cartier, and then the Maison is able to give you the keys to develop yourself and to offer very stimulating environments. Just as an example, in our graduate program, engineering graduate programs, we are around 10 of us now, and we all have quite similar profile, as we're all engineers. Perhaps we all have different ambitions, and for example, we don't have the same background before, and neither the same ambitions. Some of us have been working in the luxury sector, but other ones in the sports sector, automotive sector, and so all this brings your difference in the Cartier journey. The second tip I would advise, it's dare and trust. So the first part is be confident to seize new opportunities, even though if you haven't thought about them in the past. Of course, you may have a direction in which you want to grow in, and which is your aim. But I think the way to reach this direction is not unique, and Cartier also helps creating new opportunities. And the second part that goes with this is dare, and dare stepping out your comfort zone and go and reach and work with these opportunities to grow faster in the Maison.
And you, Theo, do you have advice to give to young students or young workers?
As soon as you graduate from the program, I think it's important to be very humble, because it's a first step into the Maison, and remember that you have colleagues around you that have 15, sometimes 20 years experience, and they know a lot about the Maison. They can share a lot of things with you. You need to be, like I said, you need to be curious. You need to ask a lot of questions, and people will very generously share. I mean, at least you've said pretty much everything. You need also to be very open to opportunities. That has been my experience. You always say yes, just like a client. You cannot say no to a client. You can't say no to an opportunity at Cartier, because if you do that, the more you say yes, the more opportunities you have. And if you're someone who's looking for a very diverse, very enriching career, if your dream is to work in multiple markets, is to travel, Cartier can help you with that. But you need to be willing. You really need to be curious, and you need to ask yourself, okay, what's next for you? Because I talked a little bit about the resilience of the Maison, and that's our role today with Alice, is to be, we protect our heritage, we cherish it, and we always need to challenge the status quo. And I think that's the reason why the Maison today is looking to recruit people like Alice and I, people with a different background, and to make sure with those programs that we can sort of help us understand Cartier and really help us translate or just move our skills across from whatever we were doing before to Cartier. And I think in terms of tips, if I summarize in one word, is really the humility, but also like the independence and wanting to push things forward. And
So to conclude now, in one word, what do you love the most today in your work life in Cartier Company?
Should I start? Yeah.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna say passion. Passion is something I witnessed from the first time I went to a Cartier boutique. And when I was preparing for the interview, I met someone I was so passionate. It really helped me make the decision, motivate myself to learn more about Cartier. And it's still something I meet colleagues every day that are passionate about the Maison. I think it's so important.
I totally agree, but just complete the exercise and to say one different word, I would say challenges to seize new opportunities and continue having this stimulating environment, which is very helpful to work and to enjoy your daily work.
So thank you, both of you, for your patience, your time, and your expectation. It was really clear. I hope. See you soon.
Yes. Thank you, Leah.
Thank you.
That's it for today. Thank you for watching us, and bye for now.